I'm out just above the Bridge of Orkney. I think there's the Black Hills behind us, which I did a few months back with Pete Evans. Anyway, been going around about 500 yards, I think, and I can tell you one thing for certain: I've already put wrong boots on for the day. So I've got quite a long walk today. We're on about 14 miles, about 3,500 feet of elevation, if I stick to my plan. And due to that, I decided that I wouldn't bring my leather boots, my Mendels. Just, you know, I wanted something a little bit easier on my feet. So I went for Gore-Tex, but I just know that due to these ground conditions, it's just going to give up. What an absolute pigsty it is at the bottom of it. I'm hoping it's going to improve. I'll be crossing, or going under, probably crossing a railway line very shortly. And then I think I'll start to get a bit more elevation. So hopefully it'll dry out. So Friday afternoon, just about 12:30, a little bit 12:30, and as I said, up above the Bridge of Orkney, and it's a decent forecast. It's sort of like a 124-hour break within what's been pretty poor weather, which I can testify to because of the state of that start. Anyway, my feet are still dry, which is good. So I've got 2 hills to try climb today. I'm not 100% certain whether I'll get them both done, because I've not been out for well, up high for over 6 weeks, so no doubt I've lost a bit of fitness. I'm carrying a little bit of weight as well, and the bag. So I've got a camp planned. There's a small lock-in up here, and we'll hopefully talk about that in a little bit while. But if I can get the 2 Munros done first, then drop down to the lock-in, then camp, then I haven't got too much of a bad walk out in the morning. But forecast is good. Visibility should hopefully stay. Cloud cover gonna roll in later, but hopefully above the top. So let's crack on and do a bit more. About 1,350 feet, so going okay. I'm going to go up this corrie here and then up to that Beinn Alchaladair, and then if my directions are right, then I'm basically going to swing a left and up behind that hill, just up there. So going okay, but I'm absolutely certain about one thing now. I should have brought my wellies. My gosh, it is very, very wet. It's taking slow going, because you know you don't want to be piling through these slop things, and you're trying to find your way through them. Some of them are like over the tops of the boots, so it's worth taking your time just to dodge these. Anyway, I reckon about another 30 minutes to get up this corrie, and then we can have a look back down at the views over Bridge of Orkney. I've nearly finished going on about it now, but I'm very pleased to get out of all that slop. That was horrible, absolutely horrible. You were just like picking your way through it, you know, and very slow going, very slippy, just looking out for the odd stone or two that you can put your foot down on. Anyway, almost at the top of this corrie now, so it is getting better underfoot. It is drier. This waterfall's fabulous. Almost at the top now of the Beinn Alchaladair. Yeah, I've still got 2,500 feet now, so I've still got another 700 feet or so to go. But it's going to be it's a beautiful view. Let's show you around. You can see over Rannoch Moor in the distance and over to Glencoe. There's snow on the tops, and the 82 down there striking off into Rannoch Moor in the distance. Quite lovely. Beautiful colours now, all the different shades of brown and all that. Beautiful. So up on the Beinn Alchaladair now, and just turned the left, swung a left now, and now heading up the final ascent of this Munros. When I get to the top, or close to the top, I shall I'll tell you where I am. Truth is, I absolutely haven't got a clue how to pronounce it. So welcome to the top of Beinn Alchaladair. That's what I'm going to call it. So I've been practicing and that's as close as I can get. Right, I'm freezing cold, so let me show you around. Pretty damn good, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic views. I'm actually not sure if I'm on true summit or not. If I am, I've been past the proper summit. There's about 3 cairns. This looks a little bit smaller than that one where I've just come from. Now I haven't made my mind up whether I am going to go and do this other Munros. I'm tired and I'm cold. And climbing up here, bear with me caller, bear with 3,440 feet. Bearing in mind I haven't been uphill for a while, and I've umped my camping gear. Anyway, let's have a quick look. I can see the hill, and I'm assuming the Lochan's just over the other side where I plan to camp. Now there is obviously a couple of bivouacs back there where I can put my tent back, and there's certainly no shame in heading back the way I came and finding a pitch. It's about 4 o'clock now, so not a huge amount of time left. Wow, look at this. Oh, get too close at sides here, look. I'll show you where I'm gonna, or was gonna go. I'm not gonna do it. I'll be absolutely buggered by the time I get round there. So I'll show you this view here, and then I'm going to head back and pitch up close to the Beinn at the head of the corrie. Excellent, is that, isn't it? So that's the other, that's kind of the ridge walk over to the other Munro. That's the other Munro with the boulders and a bit of snow on it. And then just over there, just over top of there, there's a locken, and that's where I was going to camp. But then I'd have all that down there to walk back in the morning, and it was soaking wet through coming up. So I shall retreat, and I'll get the tent set up a bit earlier, I think. And I reckon that the views will get even better as the golden hour comes along. So let's get moving. I'm freezing. Right, I've got the tent set up. Good spot. So this is like this is just above the Beinn. This is a Beinn above the Beinn. But you can see I've got good views over the Bridge of Orchy. You can see it's actually raining now. That could quite easily fall as snow if that reaches here, couldn't it? Anyway, I'll show you the tent. The Lux X Peak TP tonight. Nice, a lot more room in here. I had the Lanshan last week. I had a couple of problems with the Lanshan, in that a lot of condensation in it, and actually the bottom of my sleeping bag were quite wet. So ditched the Lanshan and gone for the TP, because it's a much bigger tent, offering more space, and well, I just like it. I think it's a great tent, and some fantastic mountains, the sunset catching them. Just a little bit of cloud now starting to roll in. I think the word's atmospheric. Said a bit of a time lapse up this when I was starting to put the tent up, and I didn't realise the rain was going to roll in, so I'm just going to leave that running, and if that rain reaches us, that should hopefully be quite atmospheric. I can't get a signal, so what I did is I just had to wander up the hill. All the clags moved in now. I managed to get a signal and say goodnight to Mrs. Boardman, so that was nice. And now I've just come back to the tent, and now I'm going to have a second meal. I've got something to eat, which is beef stew and potatoes, which will be absolutely grand. And I think as I am actually starting to fall asleep, I thought, well, the best thing to do is get some food down me and have a drink, and then just give into it. There's no messaging or anything like that going to go on, so a bit of music and a relax and an early night, I think. Anyway, nice and cosy in here, so everything's perfect. Just boiling the water now. Pick this up before I go to sleep, I think, if not before. 7:25. So there's not a lot going on. I'm just listening to Strangler's new album, which is fabulous, an absolutely brilliant album, a return to the good old days, which is very enjoyable. And I had the beef stew and taties from Something to Eat, which was fabulous. Good crack of pepper in it, nice and tasty, so I'm very, very full. I'm very happy. So hopefully that's the last time I need to nip out, other than the call of nature. So that's me done for the evening. So night for new.
Morning. What a night that was.
I'm blowing like a blower. Right, I'm packed up. Don't forget to leave no trace. Did I tell you it's freezing? Right. It's about 8:30. Or is it 9 o'clock? I can't remember. I'll have to have a look. Right, hang on. I'm going to have to tighten my belt up. My pants are nearly falling down. Bear with me a second. What a bloody performance that was. Right. I've got all my gubbins on. I'm going to have to stop at some point to take all this off because I'm going to get too warm. Right. So this is going to be a slow walk down now. Because if you remember coming up, it were a right slop fest. So I'll get a bit further on and I'll probably stop when I change my take some of these clothes off because it'll be too warm, no doubt, and we can have a natter about Beinn Alchaladair. See you in a bit. Right down off the top now. That's sorry, that's the top up there. Down off there, that's where we camped. So down onto the Beinn Alchaladair, top of the corrie now. So the wind's dropped. Just getting a bit of protection here. So it's not quite as windy and it's not quite as cold. So I'm going to crack on here a little bit until I'm definitely out of the wind, and then I'll get this coat off, and then I'll pick this up a little bit further down. A little bit out of the wind now, so not too bad. Taking my my down coat off. It's getting warmer now. So just layering down a little bit, getting a little bit of protection. Very nice. Just been talking to a chap who's actually going to go and do both Munros. Might be a bit of a shock when he gets up onto that top with the wind and the cold, but it was fair bounding along, so I'm pretty certain he's fit enough, unlike me. Right, I shall make a few more steps forward and get a bit closer. I'll pick this up further down. Right, we need to have an honest conversation. I'm not having a good time here. This is rubbish. It's I remember if I mentioned it about 1,000 times coming up that this was very, very boggy and very miserable. And obviously I knew what it were going to be like coming back down, but with the rain in the night it's just 10 times worse. So anyway, I've managed to fall 3 times. I've gone sliding down grass bankings and all that. I'm absolutely soaked through to the skin. So I think it's fair to say that Beinn Alchaladair is not going to be on my favourites. I suppose it'll make an interesting video. Last night was brilliant. Getting in the tent and the views and all that kind of stuff. Then the wind got up, so that kind of spoiled it a little bit. And then this descent's horrible. I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you a flavour of what I'm going to try plough through. I don't know if it'll do it any justice, but have a look. So you just got to try pick your way through it, you know. It's you put your foot down on a stone and then the stone slides away from you. Anyway, I don't know how long I've got, probably about another hour's walking. And if memory serves, a lot of it is like this down to the railway. So I'll just keep plodding on, see how we go, try not to fall. Just one of those things, I guess. Well, I think, if I remember correctly, that's the worst of it out of the way. Well, I'm going to finish here. I think, as I mentioned back there, it was a lovely climb yesterday. Pleased to get to the top of another big hill, and the camp were good. A bit disappointing the wind got up, which spoiled the sleep, but to say it was so cold up there, I had exactly the right amount of equipment and proper equipment and food and all that kind of thing, so I was very warm, very comfortable. I knew what it was going to be like coming down there, but it was far worse than I expected. The boots are very good, they're very good in wet conditions, but when you're putting your feet down onto, you know, what you think is decent ground, i.e. a stone, and the stone shoots out from underneath you on what's a bed of mud, you just don't expect it, so over you go. I've nearly twisted my knee a couple of times trying to stay up, and I've got to say that I'm so pleased I brought the poles. I mean, regardless of needing one for the tent, if it hadn't been for the poles, I'd have been down half a dozen times at least. You can actually see where people have slipped, you know. There were a couple coming down yesterday, and I'm assuming I'm following their boot prints down, and you can see one or two of them have gone, unfortunately. Anyway, that's me wrapped up. Not one I'm going to remember fondly, but there you go. It can't be all blue skies and fantastic vistas, can it? Thanks for watching, see you next time. Toodaloo.